Press the issue. I could have stopped him. I could have stopped him. It's me. It's me. Definitely my fault. Definitely my fault.
No, I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna do me regardless. I told him to leave his mom and, the people home, and he still broke them. It's crazy, man. It's gonna get bad. It's gonna get bad, man. But, it's all love.
Davis has just engaged Lamont Roach in another intense back and forth on social media, claiming that the fight was his to win and that Roach only emerged victorious because he allowed it. This is a highly controversial take. Not only did Lamont Roach respond, but countless fans and boxing professionals also criticized Davis. Some even went so far as to say that Lamont Roach would have won the fight regardless of the knockdown.
You learn. I definitely could have. That was on me too. That was on me for sure. Cause I ain't pick it up when I supposed to pick it up, and I could have definitely did more. Definitely did more. He caught me with a good shot, but it was times that I sat in there with him, and I'm like, damn, this guy like super slow. Well, not super slow, but he's slow, and I could have took advantage of the moments. But
There's a general belief that Lamont Roach won the fight when the knockdown is taken into account, and that he was only robbed because all three judges scored the 9th round in favor of GervontaDavis, a round in which he could have easily been disqualified or penalized if the judges had been more attentive. However, following GervontaDavis's recent comment claiming that Lamont Roach only won because he allowed it, many have gone even further, arguing that Tank didn't deserve the win at all, even if the
boxing too much in the beginning, and when I felt like he was slow, it was just already late down the line.
I believe that Roach Jr. and his team have a strong case for getting the decision overturned if they appeal. However, the case was ruled against them, despite Roach initiating an appeal regarding the knockdown. His pleas were ultimately declined. Roach took to X, formerly Twitter, posting a series of messages. In his first post, he wrote, "Y'all, tweaking if y'all think Buddy was off or had an off night. That stuff is just different with me. I told y'all from the start, just because I feel like I won, y'all acting like I said he was easy work or something. The knockdown gives me a UD. He followed it up by asserting, "I did take care of that in the ring. Ellery, you're about to make me get on you with this bias. I know he your people's, but leave it be. I ain't suing anybody, I'm just getting a clear knockdown situated that they robbed me of. Get it right, guy. Report."
What you talking about? He like, now he gonna give it to you. I was like, oh, is that right? So, that's how boxing work. It's sad to say, that's how boxing work. I'm not like totally upset. I figured with a superstar, you won't get too much on paper.
When someone suggested that overturning the knockdown would result in a split decision win rather than a unanimous one over Davis, Roach Jr. responded, "The guy who scored the fight for Tank gave him that round. If the knockdown is scored 10-8 my way, that's a 3-point swing, so I would have won that card too. Go back to your cave, casual." Roach Jr. is correct. An overturned knockdown would have earned him a unanimous decision, not a split. Still, it's safe to say he would have been satisfied with either outcome. The major takeaway from the Davis versus Roach fight wasn't that Tank had been exposed as a fraud or that he performed poorly. It was that Roach fought a masterful bout. He showed he had the right blend of talent, strategy, and composure to seriously challenge Davis and make
it in the 9th round. How frustrated are you that that wasn't counted as a knockdown?
Man.
That is not to say Tank doesn't deserve criticism for his performance. Many have pointed out his tendency to start slow and be overly economical with his punches, something that caught up with him, or nearly did, depending on how you interpret the draw on his record. His conduct in the 9th round also raised eyebrows. Taking a knee as if he could call a timeout, asking his corner to wipe grease from his eyes mid-round, and seemingly expecting special treatment from referee Tony Willis. These moments have drawn heavy and well-deserved criticism. Still, Roach deserves more credit than Davis deserves blame. He went up against an elite counterpuncher and out-countered him, consistently responding to Davis's left hooks with crisp right hands. Roach didn't fall for Tank's traps or feints. Instead, he stayed composed, set his own traps, and executed a smart, disciplined game plan from start.
I damn sure thought I had it, especially when they announced the score for him. I was like, oh, they gonna give me a split decision win. I was like, oh, yeah. Honestly, I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had...
When Roach did trade punches, he did so just long enough to let Davis know he meant business, then quickly disengaged. He must also have an incredible chin. While his defense, anticipation, and counterpunching minimized the number of clean shots he absorbed, he still took a few solid hits to the jaw and remained standing to hear the judges' scores, something Tank's opponents aren't usually around to do. Plenty of voices in the boxing world initially dismissed the matchup as a pointless mismatch, but sharper students of the game saw Roach as a live challenger, someone who could at least make it competitive. Still, no one I saw was picking the Reaper to take a scythe to Tank's perfect...
But the rules do state, if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic 8 count. But it is what it is. I wasn't relying on that. I was relying on what I was doing in there. I think I was taking control. I think I was landing more shots. I think I was landing more...
There's a lesson here for superstars. Take the biggest fights when they're available, because sometimes it's the marking time bout, the one meant to keep things ticking, that ends up biting you. Still, any damage to Davis's reputation can be quickly repaired. All he needs to do is sign an immediate rematch with Roach and get the win next time.
And I think
at the post-fight press conference, Davis teased an unspecified, bigger fight he claimed would come first. Some speculated that it might be a showdown with Shakur Stevenson. But for argument's sake, let's say that's exactly what Team Davis had in mind. Unfortunately, that fight just lost a lot of its luster.
But as soon as I heard that 114, I was just like, damn, all right, it's over with. So, yeah, man, it's just crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Like, it's okay. We gonna run it back. It's okay. But if that was kind of a knockdown, I would win a majority decision.
Yeah, Lamont, this is Matt.
A fight like Tank versus Shakur, one that would be billed as potentially determining the best American boxer under 30, you can't have one of them coming in off a fight most people believe he should have lost, especially as the favorite. Davis needs the Roach rematch. Winning it won't be easy, but it's necessary to re-maximize interest in future matchups against Stevenson and other Four Princes-level opponents. A draw on Davis's record isn't a major blow to his marketability, but the perception that he was the second-best man in his most recent fight is. He needs to replace that impression with a fresher performance that leaves no doubt about who...
No, did y'all see me in the ring tell him to keep counting? he started counting. I was like, why you stop? Like, keep counting. But I honestly don't know. I don't know. But
Davis versus Roach 2 needs to happen, and it needs to happen next. And ideally, it should take place in a location where Davis's Baltimore fan base and Roach's DC supporters can come together to create the most electric atmosphere possible. One thing's for sure, New York's Tony Willis, usually a solid referee to be fair, shouldn't be anywhere near the commission's shortlist this time. And that's where things stand with Gervonta "Tank" Davis, a star who once shone bright, hailed as the next big thing after Floyd Mayweather. Now, he faces not just Roach, but his own inner doubts, with the overwhelming task of coming back from a position he's never been in.
Yeah, just didn't do enough work. I thought that Roach's game plan was.
Davis entered the fight as a massive favorite, with many expecting him to secure his 29th career knockout by stopping Roach, who was making his lightweight debut. Behind a pro-Davis crowd, Tank was unable to deliver the highlight reel finish fans have come to expect from the Baltimore native. Instead, Roach stood in the line of fire, absorbed everything the hard-hitting Davis had to offer, and responded with shots that stunned not only Davis, but also those in the audience. The notoriously patient Davis got off to a slow start in the early rounds, waiting for Roach to make a mistake he could capitalize on. But Roach refused to give him that opening. As Davis smiled and spoke to Roach early in the fight, he soon realized that his opponent wasn't going to wilt under the bright lights. Roach Jr., 29, had faced Davis in the amateurs and had fallen short. This time, he showed he was no...
It's all about the bread at the end of the day. In the perfect world, if I could have it, like how I want to have it, thank God Lamont Roach made a name for 135 division because we needed somebody. Okay. Let's be real. So now we got a new person, thank God. So now we got Lamont Roach. If I could have it my way...
Roach was just really patient. Roach was patient, bro. He was tight. He was patient. And he wasn't really rushing in. And every now and then he'll make a mistake. He'll probably lunge a little bit or reach with the right hand. Yeah. And then he got countered. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't give a whole lot of, and it made me really...
Their careers took different paths once they turned pro, with Davis becoming one of boxing's biggest stars and Roach earning a reputation as a solid fighter, though he fell short in his only other opportunity for a world championship, losing to Jamel Herring for the WBO super featherweight title in 2019. Davis's ascent to stardom was punctuated by his knockout victory over Ryan Garcia in 2023, which solidified his claim as the face of boxing. Yet, he almost let that title slip away in a lackluster performance. Davis's past success may have given him a false sense of confidence heading into the fight, but Roach was well prepared for everything Tank had to offer, including his renowned fight-ending power. By the middle rounds, Davis's smile faded as he realized the knockout he expected wouldn't come easily. The champion began to open up his offense to create openings, but Roach stood his ground, countering with combinations and effective counters. Davis worked almost exclusively to the body, banging away as Roach stayed on the front foot, undeterred, and pressed forward. Roach would sneak in counters whenever Davis's assault stalled. In round 8, Roach stunned Davis with a counter right hand. Though Davis was never in serious danger, the counter-punching served as a reminder that Roach could hang with him. Realizing the fight could be slipping away, Davis pressed the action in the championship rounds. Though he landed some big shots, he never came close to hurting Roach. Nevertheless, his increased activity helped him win the final 2 rounds on all 3 scorecards, salvaging a draw and leaving New York with his title intact. Davis landed 103 of 279 punches in an extremely economic affair, while Roach was the more active fighter, landing 112 of 400 punches.
It was a great event. Great event. It was a great fight. They put in a fantastic performance. Both of them did, for real. Both of them really did put in a fantastic performance. It was a great fight, you know. All that good stuff. All that good stuff. You know, it was a draw at the end of the day. People are unsatisfied. You know, I feel like,
Davis's recent performance has left some boxing fans questioning whether he's still at the peak of his powers. Former 2-weight world champion Paulie Malignaggi has weighed in ahead of the proposed rematch. Malignaggi, who knows a thing or two about rematches, having defeated both Juan Diaz and Lovemore Indo in their second encounters, told ProBox TV that he believes Tank is dealing with a mental issue. There's something that's been said about Tank behind the scenes for years that nobody brings up, Malignaggi explained. It sheds light on why they keep matching him with 15-1 underdog.
Title and defend against him, so I don't know what that's gonna bring us. But let's move on to the main event. GervontaDavis and Lamont Roach. Certainly, I think the draw controversial, but I think Lamont Roach wins the night. I think his performance wins the night. Here's the thing, though. Lamont Roach was always a solid fighter, solid fundamental, and I'm going to reiterate what I said before. Solid fundamental fighter. Nothing that wows you, though. No crazy speed, no crazy power.
Davis's recent performance has left some boxing fans questioning whether he's still at the peak of his powers. Former 2-weight world champion Paulie Malignaggi has weighed in ahead of the proposed rematch. Malignaggi, who knows a thing or two about rematches, having defeated both Juan Diaz and Lovemore Indo in their second encounters, told ProBox TV that he believes Tank is dealing with a mental issue. There's something that's been said about Tank behind the scenes for years that nobody brings up, Malignaggi explained. It sheds light on why they keep matching him with 15-1 underdog.
And well-schooled, well-taught, and well-balanced. And that's who he was tonight. His sense of positioning allowed him to catch and shoot in some spots. He had a mentally strong game plan in terms of he was trying to hold ground a lot and sort of back up GervontaDavis. Davis still, you know, when you really think about it, he ends up fighting a Lamont Roach, who's a 130-pound champion, been a perennial contender for about 10 years, finally won a world title. You bring him...
There was talk of Tank fouling, with some interpreting his actions as an attempt to bite at one point. While I didn't personally see that, the knee incident and other moments raised concerns. Tank Davis is physically talented, but there are questions about his mental fortitude. The key to facing a front-runner like him is dragging him into the late rounds. You don't want to take all the chances early. Fellow lightweight world champion Gervonta Davis also weighed in on the fight, sharing his thoughts on whether Tank was exposed. His performance led to some question marks about his ability, and Gervonta recently gave his take on the Porterway podcast, discussing whether he felt his
tough lightweights that are out there, you go outside the weight class to defend the title and get a smaller guy, which is something that he'd done already before with Garcia a couple of years back, the guy he fought before he fought Ryan Garcia. I don't know, man. You know, I can't keep reiterating how disappointing GervontaDavis has been as far as the resume is concerned.
I don't think Tank got exposed. I just think Lamont was better than everyone expected him to be. Lamont can really fight. I had thought Tank would knock him out, but he proved me wrong. Lamont is better than we gave him credit for, but I don't think Tank was exposed in any way. In light of Davis's underwhelming performance against Roach, the unbeaten world champion has now spoken out and claimed he could be the first fighter to defeat Tank, should he be given the chance. Speaking on the Come and Talk to Me podcast, WBO lightweight champion Gervonta Davis said he's always been confident in his ability to beat Tank following their sparring sessions. I always felt that when I really do fight him, I think it's going to be a little easier than I project it to be, just knowing myself, my size, and what I bring to the table. So, I've always felt real confident about getting in the...
In my honest opinion, I feel like me and Lamont Roach, stylistically, is the hottest fight in the weight division. Yeah. Lamont Roach stood right there with Gervonta, the hardest puncher in the division, right? Ooh. So, put him up against me, I'm not going nowhere.
Y'all really gonna box, man.
We're gonna fight. I feel like stylistically, that's one of the best matches.
Yeah. It'll be easy. It's not going to be a physical dogfight. It's going to be a chess match, and I'm just smarter than him. If my confidence was at a 9 before the Roach fight, it's still at a 9. Legendary top-ranked CEO Bob Arum also criticized Davis's performance when speaking with Sean Zid on March 28th. I thought Roach won the fight. It was a close fight, Arum said. I think Davis has to start taking boxing seriously. It's not just a media thing. I don't know the kid, but he seemed sort of ordinary. A rematch between the two men looked likely for this summer, but newly crowned WBO lightweight...
When it comes to Shakur and Tank, a lot of people have mentioned that fight. A lot of people say, when I'm arguing with them, going back and forth, they're like, oh, Shakur's ducking. I'm like, I just don't believe that. I don't. Obviously, you're closer to that situation.
Oh, yeah, yep.
You think Shakur's ducking?
Ain't nobody scared of nobody.
Davis told the Danza Project that a fight between him and Roach makes the most sense. Me and Lamont Roach stylistically is the hottest fight in the weight division, he said. Lamont stood right there with Gervonta, the hardest puncher in the division, so put him up against me. I'm not going anywhere. We're going to fight. Ain't nobody scared of nobody. It's all about the bread at the end of the day. In a perfect world, if I can have it my way, thank God for Lamont Roach for making a name in the 135 division because we needed somebody. Let's be real. Now we've got a new person. If I get my way, Shakur and Tank should fight. Let them do it. Let me fight Lamont. Don't do the rematch yet.
I'm out. Word. I'm knocking him out. I'm not even playing. I'm knocking him out. Counter him. He countered him crazy. They countered each other, but Lamont, I feel like Lamont won. Let's start there, too. I feel like Lamont definitely won. All right, G. I feel like Lamont Roach won. I definitely feel like Lamont Roach won. But a draw...
Hassan even took on the role of promoter, offering an idea that will surely appeal to many. Whatever the outcome between Lamont and I, or Shakur and Tank, they can still do the rematch. It's two incredible fights, an incredible fight for Gervonta, and another great fight for Lamont. Then Lamont can still go away and fight Shakur, the Norfolk native commented in the interview. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn